Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Murphy's Mortuary. And today's episode is going to be probably kind of a controversial one because typically when people talk about horror remakes, it's usually in a very negative light. And excuse me for the voice crack. I've been kind of sick over the past few days. My whole entire Thanksgiving break was me being sick, and I'm still recovering from that. So you're probably going to be hearing a raspy voice and voice cracks and stuff like that. I'm still recovering from all that, but I had to do this sort of impromptu. I had no idea what I was going to do for this episode, and with Thanksgiving being around, I just been insanely busy. It's almost the story of my life is that I've just been having a lot of stuff going on, and I've been insanely busy, and I didn't even realize that I didn't finish the Wes Craven marathon. I still have to review My Soul to Take and Scream 4. So I'm going to try and do that this week. I really apologize for that. I totally was just doing so much stuff during October and November that I had forgotten that I didn't finish the Wes Craven marathon. I got most of the reviews done. I think what it is that I would film those reviews ahead of time and I would schedule them for later. So somewhere along the line, I had forgotten that I was doing that series of videos. So I'm going to try and finish that up as soon as possible. Again, I apologize for that. That was a big mistake on my end, and I apologize for taking so long with those videos. I also want to say thank you to all of you for checking out that music video I did. A little fan-made music video for Jerry Cantrell's song Psychotic Break. It's becoming a pretty big video, and that's cool. I'm glad that it's getting a lot of views and support. I appreciate you guys so much for watching that and commenting and liking the video. I just can't thank you guys enough. That was a reception that I did not expect. I've made a couple of other music videos in the past, and they didn't get like nearly as many views as that did. So I want to say thank you so much to the people that checked out that video. I made it purely for fun and because I love that song. I love Alice in Chains. I love Jerry Cantrell as an artist. And I am a big fan of his work and the work of Alice in Chains and Lane Staley and all that. So it was really cool to make that video. And I had a couple of ideas for another music video that I want to make soon that I'll save for a surprise. But tonight on Murphy's Mortuary, we're going to be discussing horror remakes that should happen. Now, I'm going to already tell you guys, I know that I'm going to be pissing people off with this video. I can tell you that right now. I already know I am because there's some pics on here that people are going to be like, what? Oh my God. And you're going to be hearing similar things about each movie. So I'm not sure how I'm going to be pacing this out. I'm not sure how much time I'm going to be spending on each movie I'm talking about. Because essentially why I think these movies should be remade is either A, they can be done better, or B, they can be done with a new creative idea, with a new mindset, a new creative team, new vision. And these are films that I would love to see remade and revisioned and given a new treatment. Now, there is a couple films in this list that have been technically remade, but I think they're just TV movies or TV miniseries, or they're just remakes that weren't that good, and I want them to be remade again and done better. So, and I try not to include too many of those. I don't have the Halloween remake on here because, in my opinion, you don't need to remake Halloween. There are certain films that you're not going to see on here because, to me, a remake of these films would accomplish nothing, change nothing, and they're not going to be able to be followed up. There's nothing else that you can add to the Halloween, original film, the classic Halloween. So there's not really a reason to do a remake to that. But yeah, we're going to get into it. I have about 19 movies to talk about today. Like I said, I'm not going to be spending too much time on each film. I'm just going to be going through it and discussing why I think that these films should be remade. And also, I guess, talking a bit in this episode about why I don't think remakes are so bad. and why I think remakes are important. And mainly with remakes, honestly, remakes, I've been watching them my entire time watching horror. Even back when I was a kid, I grew up with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, the Halloween remake. So I've known horror remakes pretty much my whole life, and I've joined that hate train of, if it's a remake, instantly hate it, instantly down it. And I I think for the most part, especially nowadays with where the market is going, with all of these reboots and remakes, and right now it is definitely the trend to remake stuff. And uh, really, it's not remakes now; it's more reboots um, and requels. But it is a common thing where, and it's real easy to do, where there's a popular IP, let's bring it back, let's refresh it, and just do it again. Let's not even try, let's just do it again. And there are a few examples of films that I really enjoyed that remade something or rebooted something and did a good job at being creative and different and unique in its own thing. Very few and far between. Very few and far between. But yeah, I think remakes are good for improving films and retelling stories. I think certain movies can definitely be remade. Um, and I think there are a few that you could do some new ideas with, that you can improve some of the problems with, that you could tweak things and improve things and make them better. And I think, especially right now, with where we're at in film, where films like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and Cocaine Bear can be these big hits off of small budgets. I can definitely see some of these remakes being made now. Because it's where we're at. We're at a point where it is definitely a transition period in Hollywood. The superhero movies and reboots aren't making as much money as they used to make. And so I'm interested and curious to see what the next phase is, because I'll be honest, comic book movies, I see it slowing down drastically. I mean, hell, there's already plenty of rumors of comic book films slowing way down, um, which is good, because I don't want the comic book genre to die. I just want it to take its time, make good stories. Don't just produce these mindless, soulless films that have nothing to offer and a bunch of CGI action scenes. That could be one thing if it was just a bunch of pyros and explosions and good fight scenes and just giving you popcorn. I mean, nothing wrong with popcorn films, but even stuff like Multiverse of Madness and Thor: Love and Thunder didn't offer that. It didn't offer anything funny. It didn't offer any good action scenes, and the effects were very, very poor in those films. So I feel like the comic book genre is going to start lessening. Again, I don't want it to die. I don't want the comic book genre to just go away forever, which it won't. But I definitely want to see it slow down, take its time. You don't need to have 10 movies in production at once. It's a very foolish idea. And actually, it's very, very bad for them to do that, because these studios don't have infinite money. Yes, you may make $1 billion or almost $2 billion with Avengers Endgame, but when you're spending $500 million on your budget, $300 million, $200 million, and they're not hits, that adds up real fast. And here lately, DC and Marvel haven't been making that much money. So I don't care what people say. Some people say, well, they have infinite money. They can just keep making more and more of them. Doesn't matter how many bombs there are. It always matters when there's a bomb in film. There's never a time where a bomb is looked at as, it's okay. It's like, no, it doesn't matter what movie it is. In hell, it matters a lot more now, because there are less and less films being made that are outside of the genre, and there's a lot more money on the table being wasted. I mean, think about it. If a movie costs $500 million and it makes $300 million, yeah, you could say, well, it'll make back its money through DVD and Blu-ray sales and streaming services, but that's very unlikely. And that's just the base budget. There's also marketing that they have to pay for. There's also rights fees they have to secure. There's also just all kinds of side stuff that that they gotta pay for and put their budget into. And so I really do feel like it's an era of reboots, not necessarily remakes, but just let's bring back a quote unquote sequel, and we're gonna make it to where it's basically a remake. Like, I'll give remakes this. At least when the remake craze was going on, they knew what they were. It was a full-fledged retelling of an original property. Nowadays, these reboots are so fake, they're so phony, because they promise you, oh, it's a new chapter with new characters and new ideas, and all they end up doing half of the time is killing the old characters off, making them look bad, embarrassing them, introducing new characters who you don't like and don't care about, and trashing past stuff in the franchise. And it happens a lot. It happens in so many properties where they bring someone back, they bring back a property, and they trash it, they disrespect it. They don't do it out of passion. They do it out of, oh, we'll make a new Indiana Jones movie because we can, because we know it'll make money. And even though it didn't, there's no reason for another Indiana Jones film. There's no reason for half these reboots they've announced. Yeah, right. Not announced. Announced. Kind of tired tonight, guys, so bear with me. But with all these reboots they've announced, it's half of them are not for the passion, is what I'm trying to say. Not for the passion, not for the care. It's for the money. And I get it. Hollywood's always been about money, and people are going to say that. It's like, well, it's always about money. It's like, well, I think it is about money, but it's also about telling good stories. It's also about taking your time and, putting a little bit of effort into your films. Not a whole lot. I'm not one of those people that expects Scorsese and Brian De Palma every time I watch a movie. But, you got to at least try. Like, to me, a big thing with me in films is if you try, you put forth effort, you do your very best, then I see a success. And I respect films that put effort in. I don't care if a budget is $1 billion, which it never will be. That's way over budget. But, that was more as a joke. I don't care if it's a $50 million budget or a $1 million budget or $500,000 budget. It doesn't matter. That stuff all doesn't matter to me. It's all about heart, story, characters, good moments, and passion and love for film and passion for the project. Passion project. But, just those things to me is what matters, not the money and the special effects and all that. To me is secondary. But I do have a list here. I'm not going to spend too much time on them. These are some films that to me could definitely benefit from remakes that I think either A, could be improved upon by having a remake, or B, I would love to see them be remade and reimagined. I would love to see them just tap into a new story and new characters and take it in a new direction. Or their stories I think are timeless, that if you remade them for a new audience, you could do them again and make them entertaining and, a retelling of the story. But yeah, this is what this episode's about today, guys. Horror remakes that we need, in my opinion. This is my opinion, so it doesn't have to be your opinion. It's just mine. And let's get right into it. So the first movie I have on this list is one that a lot of people are big fans of. I was not a big fan of it. I thought it was extremely laughable and boring. And the concept of the movie is so dark and so grisly and so awful that it should have been disturbing and horrifying. But due to bad special effects, poor pacing, and a couple of other issues, I find Don't Torture a Duckling to be more of a miss than a hit. I can respect this film for the balls it had back in the early 70s. What's up, John? Still, how you doing? Little warning, John. It's going to be getting kind of hairy. I'm going to be naming some movies that I'd love to see get remade one day. And number 3 on this list is definitely gonna piss you off, man. Just letting you know. It's going to piss you off, going to piss Mac off, going to piss Trenchy off. If you guys are watching out there, you guys probably already know that the film I'm talking about. But, yeah. But the first one I want to bring up is Don't Torture a Duckling. In my opinion, a film that is way too slow, way too boring, and has a lot of bad special effects. I will give the movie this. Like I said, for the time it was made, the early 70s, to do a plot like that, to have this priest be the killer who's going around and killing kids so they don't sin, and just the idea of a slasher movie of a killer going around and killing kids. And you're seeing that for the most part. You're seeing these kids get killed, and you're seeing dead bodies and stuff. That is such a risk to take back in the 70s. That is so out there. And like I said, it is just such a bold move by Lucio Fulci to do that, because nobody else had done that before. I don't think that had been done before in a film where there were kids being killed. But I do feel like if you remade this movie, you had some better special effects, you took the tone a bit more serious, and you replaced some of the boring segments, and you cast it better, you write it a bit better, I feel like this could be a wonderful film. And I really do think a remake could benefit for this, because this is more of a cult film. This is more of a film that, unless you're a huge fan of Italian horror and a huge fan of Fulci, you're not really going to know about this one. So I feel like it could make it more mainstream. It's a very ballsy plot, very out there, and very just dark, and it should have been more scary. And there is like one scene in the movie that I think is absolutely amazing, and that's the scene where this chick is being killed by this entire village because they call her a witch. They think that she's the one killing these kids off, and they pretty much kill her in broad daylight, in cold blood. That scene was so gut-wrenching. It was so crazy. That was the one scene in the movie that worked, and maybe the reveal of the killer and his motivations of why he's killing these kids. Other than that, I thought it was too slow, too boring, and I think it would benefit from a remake. You get a good filmmaker in there, you remake it, and I feel like it can fix a lot of the problems. Another one I want to bring up is Silent Hill. Silent Hill, I think, would benefit immensely from a remake. I know they're talking about making a new one, so in a way, it is going to happen. And I guess you could say, well, it doesn't have to be a remake. It could be just a new adaptation. It could just be a new story. But I don't know, man. The first Silent Hill got a lot of things right as far as the atmosphere, the look. I like the lead character. I like the cast. I like the special effects. Dude, the special effects for that movie is very, very impressive. Even the CGI can be a little bit weird at times. I think it looks better than most horror films at that time. And it was a very ambitious film, very much just trying to follow the games as best as they could. And the guy who did it, and it too, for Don't Torture a Duckling. Yeah, that would be cool. I would definitely agree with that, because I think if you could establish the kid characters better in Don't Torture a Duckling, you establish them, you have some character moments, it would be more impactful when they die. It'd be horrible. But it just looked really fake, and it just didn't feel intense, and Don't Torture a Duckling didn't feel horrifying for a plot like that. It didn't feel horrifying. But yeah, I mean, Silent Hill with the remake, I think they could accomplish more close stuff to the video games as far as following the plot of the first game, having the character from the first game, maybe following James Sunderland from Silent Hill 2. And with the CGI they could do now and the special effects that we have could make it look even better. And I want a Silent Hill movie where there's one person in it. And I know it's going to be impossible, because I'm sure that the big studios are like, well, if we only had one cast member, no one would watch it. For some reason, I think they would say that. I really do. But my big thing with that original Silent Hill was that it should have been one person in Silent Hill by themselves seeing their own creatures. And that's another thing. With the new Silent Hill remake, do your own creature designs. No pyramid head, no killer nurses, no none of that. Because it doesn't match Silent Hill. Silent Hill is about what your brain, the demons in your head are basically personified in Silent Hill. So every person in Silent Hill will see a different thing. That's what makes it unique. That's what makes it different. But when you put oh, we're gonna put the killer nurses in there from the second game and Pyramid Head and the little demon creatures from the first game in there. It feels like it's just a generic creature film now. But if you do it deeper, psychological, have it to where it's a more isolated Silent Hill movie, it would be excellent. It'd be so good. The ambiance, the atmosphere, the fog, the way the town would look. I think they could pull it off. And I do like the original Silent Hill. I hate the second one, but I love the first movie. Well, I don't know. Over the years, I don't know if I'd say I love it, but I definitely enjoy it. I think it's a pretty solid first movie. However, that's another film that I think could benefit from a remake. They have or had a series now for Silent Hill. I didn't know that. I know they got a shit ton of video games coming out soon. Again, like I said, guys, I apologize for the voice cracking. I know I sound like a freaking nerd because my freaking voice keeps cracking, but I'm still recovering from being sick, so it's probably going to be sounding like that. Even you can even hear my nose is starting to run. But John, another film that I think could benefit from a remake, and please hear me out on this, man. Please hear me out. Silver Bullet. I think Silver Bullet is a disappointing film for me. I don't know if I hate it or anything. I just didn't really get much from it. And I think Silver Bullet could be remade better. This is one of those films that I didn't get much from it when I first seen it. And a remake could do it better. Depending on who you get, depending on who's directing it, who's writing it, who's producing it, who's involved with it, I think they can make a better Silver Bullet movie, personally. We've got Silver Bullet. Another one that I want to see them remake and do it the exact same tone. Yeah, okay, John. I thought you loved that movie. As I know Mac and Trenchy were telling me about that one time. They were like saying how they were big fans of that movie. I'm like, it's decent. I mean, I just didn't get much from it. It wasn't funny, scary, suspenseful, action. I didn't really think it had anything to latch on to. It wasn't funny or suspenseful, or I don't know what they're really trying to do with that movie. It doesn't really have a solid tone. If it was a serious horror film, it just doesn't feel very serious, at least to me. But yeah, Silver Bullet is one of them. But Maximum Overdrive, I feel like if they were to remake it now, keep the same tone, give it more money, because I feel like Maximum Overdrive, what really kind of affects it is some of the editing is a bit weird, some of the writing's a bit weird, and I feel like if they were able to have more money, they could do even more. And I think Maximum Overdrive, I love it. I would be down to see a remake. Depending on who's involved, I would love to see it get remade. Because just so many ideas you could think of, bumping up the budget. Hell, you can bring back AC/DC if you want. Casting it with some fun people. Get a fun cast in there. And keep that tone. Don't make it deadly serious. Don't make it like, oh my God, it's so horrifying. Keep that badass, just over the top as hell tone. And just make it as fun as possible. And you do that and you increase the budget. You have more CGI effects now, so you can really bump up the special effects. And again, I love the original. If they never made a remake to it, I wouldn't complain. But I would love to see them put more money into it, put more, just more into it. And then it would be just absolutely awesome. Yeah, I mean, just keep the AC/DC soundtrack, bring in guys that are really fun character actors, and just make it a cast for the horror fans. Bill Moseley, you can bring him in there as a character. Maybe not as a lead, but you can put him in there as a character. Put in these guys that we know of, that we'll recognize. And I think it'd be cool if you could at least have a cameo of Emilio Estevez in the movie somewhere. But I don't know if it would ever happen, but it'd be cool if it did. Another one for me is Motel Hell. I am not a fan of Motel Hell. I think I watched it once, and I'll be honest, and once again, I didn't really think it was funny. It was going for more of a horror comedy vibe. And the best part is the ending. The best part is where the guy puts the pig head on with the chainsaw and he fights the guy with the other chainsaw. That's the best part. A remake to this movie could change some things around, really improve it. I know, John. I know. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm just not. I find it to be very boring, slow, not funny, and just. I was never into Motel Hell. It was one that I was very hyped to see, and it's an iconic image of the guy wearing the pig head with the chainsaw. It's very iconic, but everything else, in the people in the back. No, no like, no like. But yeah, them burying people in their backyard and making the food out of them. I don't know. I just never got into it. I never found it fun or funny. And I wouldn't mind seeing somebody remake it. I don't know who. Maybe Ty West, but I don't even know if that's a good choice or not. I'm just throwing names out there at this point. But um, I'm trying to think of who can remake it and make it fun, and like who's known for being over the top as hell. I don't even know who you'd get to remake it, but I would love to see it get remade one day. Motel Hell. This one is kind of weird that I'm saying this because they did make a series, which you could say is a remake of this, but another movie of Swamp Thing. Because I really enjoy Swamp Thing, but a Swamp Thing being made today with the upped CGI, special effects. James Wan could. If James Wan channels that energy he had during fucking Malignant, if he can channel that energy and put it into Motel Hell, I think he could do it. I really think he could do it. But Swamp Thing, I like the original one by Wes Craven. I know people say the Return of Swamp Thing is a lot better. I know people like the show of Swamp Thing. But it'd be really cool to see Swamp Thing brung back to the big screen again and make it rated R, bloody, gory, have better effects for the creature design, make it more comic book accurate, and you could really up some stuff in that remake. Although I will say Adrienne Barbeau is amazing in Swamp Thing, and my God, she's absolutely beautiful. But another one I think could benefit from a remake is definitely Shocker. Terrence is here. What's up, Terrence? How you doing, man? Thank you so much for stopping by. I've been making some controversial picks for films that I want to see possibly get remade one day, man. Just missed. I just talked about Swamp Thing, which I feel like could benefit from a lot of special effects upgrades and stuff like that. But Shocker to me is a film that you could remake. Because, like I said in my review for Shocker, while I like that movie a lot, I really, really enjoy it. I think there is a tone. I think there is a pacing issue. I think there are some problems that you run into with that plot. However, you remake it, make it fun, over the top, and you fix a bit of the logical issues, and you take out all that lame ghost stuff, that him seeing his girlfriend who's a horrible actress, seeing the ghost, take all that out, take the dream stuff out. You could really fix that movie and make it better. I would love to see a remake of Shocker. I'm not sure who I would get to be who would you guys say would be a good Horace Pinker? Man, that'd be a tough recast. Because, man, Mitch Pileggi is amazing as Horace Pinker. I wish he could do it again, but I heard he's really badly crippled up and stuff from doing his own stunts and everything over the years. First, 2 Wishmasters are decent. The rest, meh. I agree. I think they should bring back Wishmaster. I would. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Who would you cast? I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not sure. A wrestler? We get John Cena as Horace Pinker. No. Oh, God, no. We're not doing that. No. I don't know who we'd get, but we would have to get someone who's a good character actor, who's really over the top and really just big, larger than life. So, yeah, I would love to see a Shocker remake. One for me that I love the gore effects, and I enjoy this as a slasher, but I would love to see them take the movie, get Tom Savini back, work on the storyline and the characters a bit, is The Prowler. I like The Prowler a lot. I really enjoy it. I like it more than Terror Train and Prom Night. I like Prom Night and Terror Train. Those already got remakes. So I could say they need remakes, but Terry Crews. Interesting. I love that actually. Good, yeah, good casting there, Terrence. But the Prowler has got some great kills, a cool look for the killer, pretty bad reveal, pretty bad characters, pretty slow pacing, pretty bad storyline. So you bring back the Prowler, you fix that stuff. Again, a film that I think could be improved. Now, here's one that I'm really going to lose you guys on. A24 gets the rights to this movie. You bring in a director, whether it's Robert Eggers or Gaspar Noé or someone big right now that can match the tone of this film. The Shining. Now, before you guys say anything, not a remake of Kubrick's vision. I don't want to see a remake of what Kubrick did. Kubrick took The Shining, made it his own, put his own effort into it, and made it that is not touchable. Kubrick's The Shining is not touchable. However, Gaspar Noé, Robert Eggers, I know some people would say Ari Aster. I don't know about Ari Aster, but I think The Shining would benefit from a new vision, following the book more closely, new segments, new ideas, and my personal pick would be Gaspar Noé. Because I think Gaspar Noé would bring such a visual aspect to the film, such an interesting new flavor, new vision. I don't think he would ever do it because it's very mainstream and it's very different from his usual work. But I would love to see his just colorful take on it and the usage of the lighting and I don't know. I would like to see this film get remade. I think there's a lot of things here that they could do more closer to the book, recasting it with a good cast, and A24 and Robert Eggers or Gaspar Noé working on it. I would love it. I'd love it. So yeah, The Shining, we're going to move past that one because then everybody's like, what? No. But the next one is The Funhouse. The Funhouse by Tobe Hooper. I like it. I don't love it. Sort of the same reason for The Prowler. It could be written better, improved. I can definitely see a Funhouse remake being done and being improved and being done better. I feel like the lead slasher in the movie, the lead killer, well, it's passable, it's decent, it's okay as a character. We could do a bit better than that, and I feel like the film could be a bit more over the top, a bit more gory, a bit more for the slasher elements. And so, for me, I'd like to see them remake The Funhouse one day and try to see if they can maybe improve some things with that film. In my opinion, I want to see a new vision for Phantasm. Don Coscarelli made Phantasm, brilliant film, but I would love to see somebody else take it and completely redo their own vision. You probably would have to have the tall man and the spheres and everything, but I would love to see a Phantasm remake. Done right, and that applies to all these. If done well with the right actors, directors, producers, and studio, I would love to see a Phantasm remake. Hell, give it to the guy that made The Black Phone. I don't know why, but The Black Phone, that director, his vision, I want to see him make Phantasm. And I want to see who would play the tall man, who could play the Mike character, the Reggie character. It'd be interesting to see a new Phantasm movie. I love Phantasm. I love the first one. I love the second one. I love the third one. I like the fourth one. Fifth one I can appreciate, but it's not very good, unfortunately. Huge fan of that franchise, but I would love to see a new Phantasm. Another one that I want to see remade, The Burning. The Burning, I really enjoy The Burning. I think it's a wonderful film. The idea of Cropsey and the hedge clippers as the weapon. I even like the way that he looks at the end of the film with his just face all melted looking. I do have problems though. It takes about 40 minutes to get to the first kills that you actually see. And yeah, it's brutal, it's gory, it's one hell of a way to do it, but it is very slow. It takes 40 minutes, 30 minutes to get to the first kills. And again, pacing issues. And I feel like they could make it a bit more fun. So I'd love to see them make a Burning remake. Demons is crying out for a reboot. I'm pretty sure they're going to reboot that as soon as they can. Because, again, it's a cult film, but they could make it more mainstream and, give it a bigger following. For me, Demons is okay, though. You don't need to remake Demons. Again, with Burning, so many iterations. I didn't know that. I didn't know there was so many different Burning films. Demons is crying out. I already read that. Angus is irreplaceable. I agree, man. It's going to be hard to pick who would replace him. I don't know. That would be the hardest part, is recasting the tall man. But I don't know. There could be somebody out there who could play him. You never know. So yeah, we got The Burning. Christine is one that I think could benefit from a remake. I love Christine, but I do think they could have followed the novel. I mean, they followed the novel pretty damn good. Pretty close. I mean, pretty much the bare minimum of that novel they got right. And I have a lot of fun with Christine. But I would love to see somebody come in and give their own unique new version of that story. I love Christine. Cujo, same thing. I think Cujo's good, but not great. I think they could improve some things, and I want to see a new Cujo film. Tourist Trap. I love the idea for Tourist Trap. What a genius way to make a slasher film. And that atmosphere, that ambiance, that just dread, that character, the design of the character, how he's a guy that has these like powers and can control things and control mannequins and stuff. Cool idea for the killer. I don't think it ever really reached its full potential as a film, though. So I would definitely love to see Tourist Trap get remade and just see what they would do for it. Christina's getting remade. I think I heard about that, actually. Well, so many copycats of like Funhouse films have come out since. That's the one that's pissing me off, Terrence. Yeah, Christine. But I don't know. I think Tourist Trap could definitely benefit from a remake. I think it was good, but I don't think it reached its full potential as a film. So I would definitely see a remake benefiting that one. Street Trash remake coming out next year as well. I know, man, it's going to be a crazy year. Tourist Trap is fucking gold to me, but yes, remake could work. I mean, just take that idea, don't change anything, and just recast it, give it a bit more money, and improve it a bit, and give them some time to do even more with that plot line. So yeah, I got Tourist Trap. We got an Argento movie on here, Cat O' Nine Tails. I did not enjoy this movie at all. I felt it was so boring and dry and just completely opposite from his previous film before this. Because I think he did Deep Red at least before this movie. Maybe he did. Oh, actually, no. He did Bird with the Crystal Plumage before he did this movie, which I thought was an excellent film. But this one, very, very slow, very boring, very uninteresting. I would love to see this film get remade now. And honestly, we don't have too many giallos right now. So to remake this movie would be unique and different, to release a giallo and make a newer version of Cat of Nine Tails. Salem's Lot. I know they remade it with Rob Lowe in that miniseries, but I'm talking about like a movie remake. Because I love that design of the vampire, of the blue with the eyes and the teeth. Keep that design, remake Salem's Lot, and make it even better. Zombie Holocaust. I love the idea of Zombie Holocaust. You got Lucio Fulci-esque zombies taking on cannibals. And it just disappointed. There was a few good things here and there. There's an amazing effect where a zombie gets his fucking head propelled and blood and brains are everywhere. That was great. There's a couple other great scenes in that movie, but I think overall it was disappointing. I would like to see them redo that and do it a bit better. Zombie Holocaust, a.k.a. Dr. Butcher MD, I think is what it is. Yeah, yeah. Street Trash and Toxic Avenger in the same year, remixed with two grungy 80s cult classics. I did notice that. Last film I have on this list is a film that I am a big fan of, but I do think they could change some stuff around in this remake, and that is of Sinister. Now, like I said, I really, really enjoy Sinister. I think Sinister is one of the better horror films of the 2010s. However, there are some just glaring things in Sinister that I think could be improved upon. And first of all is that CGI of the ghost kids haunting Ethan Hawke, that whole subplot of Bagul haunting him and bad jump scares and horrible CG and just him not even seeing these ghost kids, they're just running around them. And a couple of the other generic horror tropes that part two would fall way into. I feel like if they were to make Sinister more serious as far as not putting so many horror tropes in there, making Ethan Hawke's character a bit more likable, and just keep that feeling that you get when the 8mm footage plays in that film. It's so dark, it's so evil, that for the scenes that they're in, those are great horror scenes. They're suspenseful, they're eerie, they're creepy, they're brutal. But I feel like the in-between stuff felt a bit, generic at times. We have ghost children, we have a creepy looking Slender Man guy, and we got, this demonologist who knows about Bagul, of course he does, and the comedy relief cop. So I feel like while I love Sinister, it could be improved, it could be fixed, it could go in and write a better script and write more interesting and original stuff for it, and make it more focused on atmosphere and suspense, and just keep that energy of the 8mm scenes and just drag it on to the whole film. And I think that they could really do something with that. But that's all I got for this list. I do want to turn to the comments and ask you guys, John and Terrence, if you guys are both still here, what are some horror remakes that you would like to see? Are there any horror films out there that you think are pretty popular, but you'd like to? Yeah, they're popular, but you want to see them get redone, or are there films that you just don't like that you would say, yeah, I want to see a remake of that? Scanners, oh yeah, could have a good reboot. It's been a long time too. I mean, the last movies they made was Scanner Cop, right? Which I think that got. Sinister is better than Black Phone. That's a hard choice. I would say Sinister is a better film. That's hard though, man. That's a hard choice because I like both films. Skinamarink, yes. Okay, look, I like Skinamarink a lot, John, but I agree it could be remade. But if you want, John, if you want to see even more Skinamarink, there's a YouTube channel out there from the guy who made the movie. There's even more stuff in that. So if you want to see even more shots of the corner of a room for 5 minutes, there you go. I know you're a big fan of Skinamarink. Abby, the 70s Exorcist ripoff. I've never heard of that. Abby from 1974. Holy shit, I have never heard of this before. What the hell? Huh. Yeah, that'd be interesting, man. I didn't know they had I know they did that Italian film. What was that called? I forgot what that's called, man. It was that Italian remake, Beyond the Door or something. Abby is a throwback. Not many talk about it. Yeah, I've never even heard of it before. So bad. But yeah, it's gonna pretty much do it for this stream. Thank you guys so much for watching out there, and again, I apologize for. Oh, Kelly came in here at the very end. What's up, Kelly? How you doing? But I hope all is well, Kelly. Hope you've had a great day. Um, but I am, as you guys can tell, a little bit tired. I think I'm gonna just head off here and take it easy for a little while. But anyways, y'all, thank you guys so much for watching. Take care, and that'll do it. The Explorer 4 is out. Bye.